For years, he lived an ordinary life. He had a job, a home, a history. But there was one problem. None of it matched. Two names, two identities, two completely different pasts. Official records say one thing, witnesses remember another, and somewhere between those versions lies a truth no one saw coming. How does a man build an entire life under one name while secretly existing under another? And more importantly, what was he hiding behind the mask? Welcome to the Untold Signal, where hidden identities, unexplained events, and forgotten truths come back into focus. Tonight's story isn't just about a false name. It's about a life carefully constructed, piece by piece, under an identity that may not have existed at all. Friends believed they knew him, colleagues trusted him, official documents supported him, and yet, when investigators began pulling at the smallest thread, everything started to unravel. What they discovered wasn't just a second name, it was a completely different past. So who was he really?
No
and
way,
how did
that's
he
hilarious.
manage to live between two identities without anyone noticing? Let's step behind the mask. He first appeared to be completely ordinary, the kind of person no one would ever question. He showed up on time, spoke calmly, kept to himself, and lived a life that looked stable from the outside. Neighbors described him as polite but distant. Coworkers said he was professional, reliable, even forgettable. And maybe that was the point. Under the name most people knew him by, he had a documented history. There were records of employment, financial transactions, rental agreements, even medical files. Everything about his identity seemed legitimate. If you searched his name, you would find a consistent timeline stretching back years. Nothing dramatic, nothing suspicious. But small inconsistencies began to surface. It started with a routine background verification, a simple administrative check that should have taken minutes. Instead, it raised questions. Certain records existed, but the institutions listed had no matching archives. A school he supposedly attended had no graduation record under his name. An old address connected to him had no evidence he had ever lived there. At first, these were dismissed as clerical errors. Data mistakes happen all the time. Then someone ran a deeper search. That was when the second name appeared. Different name, different birthplace, different family connections, but the same face and archived photographs, the same date of birth, the same subtle details that were impossible to ignore. It was as if two parallel lives had been quietly unfolding at the same time, carefully separated, never meant to collide. Investigators began mapping timelines side by side. Under one identity, he had lived in one country during a specific year. Under the other, official records placed him somewhere else entirely during that exact same period. Travel documents added even more confusion. There were stamps that overlapped, employment contracts that should have conflicted, yet somehow both identities had supporting paperwork. Friends were questioned. Most were shocked. They insisted he had never mentioned another name. No strange behavior, no suspicious
Thank you for joining
absences.
me today. This collaboration
He
marks a new
celebrated
chapter.
holidays,
Together, we will
attended
achieve great
gatherings,
things and shape the
paid
future.
bills on time. Nothing about him suggested someone managing a double existence. But former associates under the second name told a slightly different story. They described a man who avoided personal details, someone who rarely allowed photographs, someone who changed contact information without explanation.
Thank you, sir.
The deeper investigators looked, the more it seemed that each identity had been carefully constructed for a specific purpose. Financial patterns revealed something even more unusual. Funds occasionally moved between accounts linked to
Thank you,
both
sir.
identities, indirectly through intermediaries. Not enough to trigger alarms, just enough to suggest coordination. It was subtle, intentional. Digital footprints told their own story. Email accounts under both names existed for years, yet rarely overlapped. Social media activity was minimal, controlled, almost cautious. When posts were made, they revealed nothing personal. No family photos, no childhood memories, no traceable past beyond what was strategically presented. The biggest turning point came when biometric data was compared. Official systems that normally flag identity duplication had never triggered an alert. Somehow, the records were clean. Either the systems had failed, or someone understood exactly how to navigate them without raising suspicion. Speculation grew quickly. Was this an elaborate case of identity theft? A witness protection relocation gone wrong? An intelligence operation? Or something more personal? A man trying to erase his past and start again under a new name. Psychological analysts offered another possibility. Living under two identities requires discipline, consistency, emotional detachment. One mistake can expose everything. Yet he maintained both lives for years. That level of control suggested careful planning, not impulse. And then, just as the investigation intensified, he disappeared. No dramatic chase, no public arrest, just absence. Under one name, his residence was vacated overnight. Under the other, communications stopped completely. Accounts were closed. Devices were wiped clean. It was as if he anticipated the moment when the two worlds would collide and chose to step away before the truth fully surfaced. To this day, no official explanation has been released clarifying which identity was real. Some believe one name was the original and the other fabricated. Others think both were constructed for reasons never made public. What remains undeniable is that for years he successfully existed between two realities, unnoticed by nearly everyone around him. And maybe that's the most unsettling part of the story.
Can you explain your actions?
Because if one person can build two convincing lives from scratch, how many others are doing the same without ever being discovered? Behind every name, there is a history. Behind every history, there is a trail. But sometimes, if someone is careful enough, that trail splits in two, and the truth stays hidden behind the mask. If this story proves anything, it's that identity isn't always what it seems. A name can open doors, build trust, and create an entire life. But it can also hide secrets no one ever expects. If you found this case as unsettling as it is fascinating, make sure you subscribe to The Untold Signal, where we uncover hidden identities, unexplained events, and the stories that slip through the cracks of official records. Like this video to support more investigations like this, and share it with someone who loves deep, real-life mysteries. And now I want to hear from you. Which identity do you think was real? Was he running from something or running towards something?
Thank you, sir.
Drop your theory in the comments below. Until the next signal is uncovered, stay curious, stay observant, and remember, sometimes the truth isn't erased, it's simply rewritten.